Good morning or good afternoon, depending on your time zone. Thanks for all coming along for Power BI for Government. It's actually our 19th meetup, so great to have you all here. Just a little bit of housekeeping before we do kick off. If you could put your microphone on mute, there will be opportunities to ask questions, and we'd love to hear your questions. You can, because there's a big group, it's probably better to put your questions in the chat. But if you do have a question that you actually want to, verbalize, just raise your hand, and at the end of one of the presentations, I'll ask you to ask your questions. So please do ask your questions. Just to note, this session is being recorded, so I will send you a follow-up email after the event with a link to the YouTube channel where you can watch the session and jump back or forwards to wherever you would like, or give it to anyone you would like who missed the session today. So please do ask your questions. Everything will be recorded. But for those of you, if you haven't been before, this is the Power BI Community of Practice for Government. So it's a government-only invite session where we have user stories. So we have a really great user story today. We have learning opportunities, what's new in Power BI, what's new just generally in the data governance space, and Power BI updates, what is happening in Power BI, and try and help you keep up to date with all the new things they keep releasing. For those who haven't met, my name is Warren Dean. I'm founder of DataTale. I do at DataTale Power BI training, Power BI report development, mentoring, helping people rolling out Power BI across organizations. So if you need any support with that, please do yell out. We'd love to help you on your Power BI journey. Just to note that in 2 days' time, I do have the Power BI for Government beginner course. So if you've never done Power BI training, even if you've used Power BI for a while, I did this course on Monday, and there's a few people saying, I've used Power BI for such a long time, I didn't realize there was all these different functionality. We'd love to have you come along. So it's on Thursday. There's 4 slots available. So if you'd like to come along to the Thursday training session, it's full day, all virtual. Just shoot me an email and I'll give you all the details for that. So that'll be running on Thursday. But really excited for our session today. We have, myself and 3 other presenters. So I have Andrew from Banyol. He's going to be showing you how they're doing Power BI and using a survey data. We've got Maria from the ABS. She's not using Power BI, but I saw this on LinkedIn. I thought this is a really good opportunity, and we should all see how the ABS is providing us data that we can actually access. So thank you, Maria, for coming along. And we've got Pedro from Measure Killer. If you haven't heard of Measure Killer before, it is a tool that you really should get to know in terms of how can I clean up my semantic models. So thank you, all of you, for coming along and presenting. And obviously, I'll do a little bit of updates, what's new in Power BI. And I'm going to focus on the MCP server, which is just been released. So I'll talk about that. As always, there's always a free book competition. So today's book is the Microsoft Power BI Cookbook. If you would like a copy, I only obviously have one, but it is a competition. I will copy the link and just put your name in the chat, not in the chat, in the form. So I'll drop that in there. If you'd like an opportunity to win that book. This one, the cookbook, it's kind of like an end-to-end everything in Power BI. It's by Greg Deckler. So if you'd like a copy of that, I have one to give away. Just put your name in the form and we'll draw one lucky winner at the end of today's session. All right, let's jump into it. So quarterly wrap, we just had the November update last week. So there's lots of new things happening in the world of Power BI. And I want to show you this particular one. And because we've got a full session, I don't want to go too much into what's new, but we do have the Power BI modeling MCP server. So all of you obviously are dabbling with AI, most likely Copilot. Today I'm going to show you Claude. But as a Power BI developer now, I can use natural language. So I can use an LLM, and today I'll be demoing in Claude. And because Microsoft released this is the Power BI modeling MCP. So an MCP allows you to talk to Power BI, or this one allows you to talk to the Power BI file directly. So it can talk to a Power BI desktop file, Power BI file in the workspace, or the PBIP. And so to show you what that looks like, for those of you who've been on my training courses before, this is our Module 3 Finance, where kind of intro into DAX. This is a Power BI report. I've got it open in Power BI Desktop. And if I open Claude, so this is Claude desktop version, I've got this here. Can you see my open Power BI report? So this is installed on my device. It's talking to Claude as an LLM, and hopefully, it's always tricky with demos, but hopefully this works. So it's going to ask permission. Can it see my Power BI report? So I've granted permission, and it's looking, and it's saying, yes, I can see the report named Training Finance, which is this one here. And would you like me to connect? Yes. So what it's actually doing is it's connecting to the semantic model and the TMDL file. So if you haven't seen a TMDL before, TMDL is all the metadata in your semantic model. And so here I can look at a table. I have a business units table, and it has all the column headers, the formats, etc., all the relationships within the semantic model I can see. And so now Claude is talking to all of that. Bring that back up. And it can edit that file. So if you have a look on the side, actually, I'll put it back in this view. And if we go sales table, so I could say, let's make a formula just for revenue. So can you make a measure for the sum of revenue? So historically, I would pass all that TMDL data into my LLM, and that's how I'd get it to generate measures. But now it can actually just do it because it's connected and it has write access. So we should see the formula appear over here. Done. Total revenue. Okay, so there's the formula, total revenue. Now make it year to date and month to date.
Right.
So you see that code there, that's the TMDL code. It's got the format strings and it's already putting it as a format financial, which is helpful. And there's those three there. All right, can you put my three, so it understands the context, it's just made three new measures in a folder called metrics. So really good for if you're doing, batch work. So I've got, if I had 100 measures and I needed to put them into folders, that's a little bit time consuming, but it can just look at all that and you can see there it's moved only those three into metrics. And then I can say move all measures to that folder. That's all very new. It is not sending the data to Claude. It's just all the metadata, so all the TMDL files. So it's still in preview, so I'm still playing around with it, but I think this will change the way we work in Power BI because we will be able to use a language learning model. You can see they're all there now, to work within Power BI and do a lot of this work. So keep watching this space. I'm going to do some more YouTube videos. I'm using Claude, but obviously a lot of government would just use Copilot. So I'll do one in Copilot as well. But that's kind of my update. Interesting space to watch. So if you've got any other questions, put them in the chat. But we'll jump into our presentation and I'll hand over to Andrew. Andrew, if you'd like to take over the screen. And again, thanks for presenting. Looking forward to see your presentation.
Thanks, Warren. I mean, that's amazing what you were showing with Claude. That's just blowing my mind. So I'm super keen to see how that all goes over time. But look, everyone, really great to be here. I've been to a few sessions now and happy to be kind of sharing what's, I think, the first biggest thing that we've done here as a community insights team at Banyule. So what I'm presenting on today is how we've gone taking our community satisfaction survey reporting from what was every year being a big report to a Power BI dashboard that's interactive and easy to use. And so for anyone who's not really across it, community satisfaction survey, it's a community survey that's run every year by local governments to survey a representative sample of residents to see how satisfied they are with council services. So a whole range of different services and then a kind of overall measure of that. And so I'll be taking, sorry, I've got a bit of feedback. I'll be taking you through kind of what led us to start down that path, take you across the collaborative team that we formed to do the work, and then through our journey of the different iterations we've got, and eventually to the dashboard itself. So I'll get into that. Okay, so as of 2024, we had 3 community surveys. They were conducted by different consultants. They were reported on in different ways. They didn't really talk to each other. And we really wanted to look into how that was going and how we could make some improvements. We found out a lot when we did that, but one key finding was that we were getting so much great community data, but it just wasn't getting used to the potential that we wanted to see. And one of the key findings relevant to us going forward with Power BI was that staff were really daunted by these large reports, these very dense things that needed to be so long because you couldn't, like you can with Power BI, just slice for the interests that you have at the time. We realized we needed a user-friendly option. So going from this large report that was around 250 pages, we thought, yeah, Power BI was definitely the way forward, especially as this is something that our organization had been investing in as a way forward, and by hiring some specialists into the organization. So we went down the road of a collaborative approach. I mean, I guess it had to be. We didn't have that capability within the team. So a key person in that was our Power BI specialist, who's here today, Jasneet. She'll be kind of around answering some questions with me at the end of this. Her job, quite frankly, build the report, you know, that really huge job there. We have our data analyst involved to prepare the data files for that, to ensure that data is accurate as it was kind of coming in on the report itself, and to problem solve along the way with some of those data issues, because there was quite a lot involved in actually processing it, and to have all of this data come out in a comparable way as it was in our PDF report. We had a designer on board, so from our comms team, super helpful, really pivotal in the outcome that we got at the end, responsible for the style, the usability of what we developed and of branding. And then there was myself as the project manager who conceived of this project and did all those kind of things along the way that will get it over the line and ensure that the report does what we need it to. And so what I'll take you through from here was really just all those different iterations along the way from our archival material. So when we first kind of shared our data file with IT, where our Power BI specialist is located, she just thought, you know, let's have a crack at it. Let's just put some of this stuff on a page. Let's share it. Let's have a play around and see how that lands. So I don't know if you can see my cursor, but around the outsides, we have all the participant information, but it's also, these were slices. So you could slice by age, gender, language other than English spoken at home, bit of a menu bar in that central bit, and this bottom left-hand corner stuff, this is where everything would change depending on the navigation. And so that was our kind of first look of getting something up there that we could play with, because quite frankly, from the earliest days, we didn't quite know what we wanted or where this was going to go. But from there, we shared back some of our Bannual colors, the official things that we have, and I just put in some rough things here of how I thought those measures might go well, because in this survey, we ask our residents about how important they think various services are, around parks and gardens, playgrounds. They're asked for their satisfaction of those indicators, but also that is always compared to, let's say, broader Metro Melbourne, as it is here. And I wanted a bit of a gauge of how the comparison was between people who are dissatisfied, so-so, and very happy. Now, this there was a bit of a first pass of, well, these are the kinds of charts we have. This is kind of how it's going to look. There wasn't too much emphasis at this point in getting the data accurate. It's more just like throwing it out there. Let's have a look. And we thought at this point, after playing around and having a bit of a think, that we really wanted to split up some of the things that we were seeing here. So these slices around the side, we thought that's really taking up a lot of space. There's a lot in here. While a lot of data is great, we thought, look, maybe we could tease it out a little bit. And so you see like a big jump in our evolution here, where you start to see our menu on the side and a separate page for survey participants. And so here you can just see who participated in the survey, that kind of breakdown. Separate kind of title for everything, so it's very clear about where you are. And from that, we needed to then look at, well, where is that, how is that main data going to sit? So revisited how the importance and the satisfaction and all that goes. So with the participants information on its own page, we have a much more simplified set of slices as a bar on the top. They're now drop-down menus. And you can see all the main kind of ingredients here. You got your line with your number of what's shown in that indicator. You got the Northern Councils versus the metro area and all that stuff. And look, we never got our gauge chart. We were really hoping to get that, but it just, we weren't finding the right thing. So we went for a line there. That's fine. So at this stage, we thought we had enough together and we could put all that data in there. And under the advice of our designer, we did some user testing in the organization. So we got together a group, I think it was around 10 or maybe a few extra, of people, data users of all disparate areas of the organization. So people who didn't have much to do with each other than that they would be using this data. So we set up a range of activities that they could do. So we might set up things like, I don't remember them exactly, but let's say, how satisfied are young people with bike paths in Bannual? Things like that. We set up a feedback form so that people could put in their answers to those questions, a bit of feedback of what blocks they had along the way. Was it easy to navigate? Did they have anything on their wish list? What would they like to see? We got together all that stuff. And it was at this point that we had a much more involved, got a lot more involvement from our designer. And this is what he came up with based on, I think, sticking as faithful as he could to what we'd already done. So having different pages, he was pretty clear that, and I think this is absolutely the right decision. We had too many indicators on a page. I think we might have had up to 7, something like that. He wanted to break that down into different pages, have a bit of color split here. So, your slices have a clear color. There's a nice white background for all the indicators and some nice stuff along the side, going with our general menu that we had, but making it clear where we were on the menu at the time or what page we're on. our logo at the top corner. Now he provided us with this, which was faithful to what we'd already done. Very polite of him, but he had better ideas as to where we could take this. So he said suggested that if we had the time, if we had I don't know, feeling adventurous enough to go down a different road, we could do that. And we did go with that. I'll show you now how that turned out on our final dashboard or final Power BI report. Let me share that. Okay. I hope this is coming up right here. Okay. So he suggested a cover page, which we thought was a good idea, a little bit of intro. And because in this first version of our Power BI report, we didn't get everything in there. So there's a link to the PDF. But we can go in here to look at the data. We have our kind of participants page and.
Sorry, Andrew. I can't see the screen.
Oh.
I'm gonna try share again. Oh, did we lose Andrew? It looks like he's staring for a very long time. Okay. All right, we might pause Andrew's presentation if that's all right, because it's a very good profile shot, but it looks like he's frozen staring into space. So hopefully Andrew can jump back online. What we might do is, Maria, are you okay to take over the screen and start your presentation? And when you're done, Andrew can do the demo of his report.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Oh, sorry, is he back? Oh.
Yes, saying, can I jump in? Like, meanwhile, I can wait for him. And
sure. Yes.
yes,
Yeah.
we'll just try to,
Yeah.
we'll just be low. So, I can share my screen. Not that I was prepared for today's,
No,
but yeah,
appreciate it.
this is the report that Andrew was talking about that we came up to in the final version. And where we started was we wanted to portray and display each and every aspect of how the community felt and reacted and provided feedback with the demographics available within the council. But overall, when we moved on while developing the report, we noticed that maybe not all the information is relevant all the time. And this is what we came up to. So we had dedicated pages for the demographics like participants, what are the top 10 issues, what the council feels, and for each segments of, like, for example, we considered each departments or each teams that have more relevant issues related to them, and we divided them between scores, comparisons between the other councils and how Banual performed, and the breakdown of each as well to show that how we performed as a council and to compare between different councils how we scored. And instead of showing everything on the same page, which was the initial design, that suppose if a user clicks on one page, he should see what group of the community reacted, how they reacted, and what are the actions related to it that should be shown. And instead, we segregated them and allowed the user itself to have minimal information. And Power BI helped us a lot handling basic charts as well and complication calculations, between the number of people who are actually using that particular service and not using that service and so on. So yeah, this is the report that we have. It came up to 70 plus pages of a report. And as a user, when you say you don't see 70 plus, you can just navigate between them. And yeah, Power BI helped us bring this together. And it was more of like a website. And you can also could help the PDF, which was around 250 pages, which Andrew had mentioned initially. So that was converted into this report so that it's more user friendly. You can slice and dice a PDF report. You cannot decide which gender feels what and how does it impact. And yeah, that was pretty much it. I'll stop sharing. And any questions that anybody's got regarding the
Yeah, if there's
report?
any questions, you can drop them in the chat. Oh, there has been a few. I think you did kind of answer. So yeah, if you want to ask a question, you put your hand up. Otherwise, I'll read them out in the chat. Yeah, Jack comments as also I do. Yeah, obviously you can see the difference there. So it looks a lot cleaner, a lot easier to use. Bookmarks rather than pages. So you did kind of mention, but I assume you've got a lot of bookmarks behind each of those little buttons that it looks like it's all on the same page, but you have many, many pages, as you mentioned, if that's correct.
Yep. I think there was some technical aspects that we had to consider because the slices had to sink in, and there were few calculation changes as well that we implemented. I think Michael once has raised his hand. Michael, do you want to say something?
Hi everyone, my name is Michael Beattie. I'm the Engagement and Insights Coordinator at Banyule City Council, so work with Jasneet and Andrew. I just want to acknowledge obviously all the work that they've taken us through with this, but in the presentation today, but you can imagine as well the impact that this is having for the organisation. Historically, we only ever had a PDF report with this data, and so using Power BI, it's made it much more interactive, and we can see the many ways that people are gravitating towards the data now to use it for their planning and for their reporting. So from an impact perspective at an organizational level, it's been awesome. So just really want to acknowledge all this work of Jasneet's and Andrew's and the team that Andrew presented at the start as well.
Thank you, Michael. No, you can definitely imagine it's a lot easier to use and navigate and get to the data you want to quickly. So that's definitely a big win. I'll run through some of the questions. The graphs, are they native Power BI visuals, or did you use any custom visuals?
No, they were all native Power BI visuals. We had to work around them and add few counts to show exactly the design that our team suggested. But yeah, it was all native Power BI visuals.
Excellent. Have you shared this publicly, or is it just internal?
Yep, it is being shared publicly. Michael's team would be able to share the link in the chat later.
Yeah, okay, excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm just going to jump in there. We from our perspective, it was really important to make sure that it was public. With it, endeavoring to make sure that all of our data is available for community. We had a number of conversations internally and felt that, look, it's data that was already available in the PDF, so let's share the Power BI report as well. Yeah.
Fantastic. Have you compared with previous year, or is there a thought process next year to compare with previous year in terms of the report?
I think it would be next year that would be compared.
Next year. And Glenn would like to know, what is your data source?
It was Excel-based data that we received from the external.
Excellent. Oh, thank you. I can see Chris has put the link in there. So if you want to click on the link and you can have a look as well. So a few other questions there about the back end. So the back end is Excel. Kudos to the team. Robin would like to know, in terms of your data model, is it just one big Excel, or do you have lots of different tables and relationships?
There was just one Excel, and we've obviously transformed it and made some changes within the Power BI desktop file itself to slice and dice and get the calculations properly.
Yeah, excellent. Well, that's our last question. So thank you, Jasneet. Thank you, Andrew. Hopefully you can jump back online. But yeah, there's a lot of value there. And thank you also for sharing the report. I think we can all use that and learn from that, especially from your UX design. So there's a lot of value there. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you so much.
It
Excellent.
looks like you managed it without me at the end. I just got back in.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, the computer had to be reset. But that's great. Someone managed to share the thing, or did you take over, Jasneet? Sorry. Well, thank you so much.
Thanks, Andrew. Yeah, look, if you've got any other questions for Andrew as well, just pop them in the chat, and as we're going through the other presentations, they can answer the questions directly in the chat, or get in contact with them. Next up, we have Maria. Maria invited along. Thanks for coming along, Maria. It's not a Power BI report, but I just thought there's so much value when I saw the ABS sharing this on LinkedIn. I just thought it'd be so good if you can come and share how to use this and what value it can give, well, especially for your planning, those type of people in that particular space. So thanks, Maria. I'll hand over to you.
Thank you, Warren. Yeah, I hope you all find this as insightful as possible. Like Warren mentioned, this is not Power BI, but it is a good app to use, and it's very interactive as well. So, like you said, my name is Maria. Let me know if you all can see that, because it's kind of like back and forth between what we can all see and not see.
We can see that.
All right, cool. Thank you. Like Warren's mentioned, I'm from the ABS, so I'm a geospatial specialist at the location infrastructure branch, and my team in particular, it's called Geospatial Services, and we focus mostly in creating and publishing web services and web applications to both government and public audiences. And the app I'm going to show you today and talk about is the Population Projections Explorer. Now, a bit of background on the app itself. We were actually requested by the Geoscience Australia to create a web application that used the future population growth for Australia. Now, the ABS does have an official publication for this, for population projections, but it is only done at states and greater capital cities level. So for this specific project, we actually had to have a bespoke data set created for the app to be built. And the reason I'm mentioning this is because the actual data used is not an official product from ABS. So it's not available on the ABS website, and it's not going to be updated in the future. But the data is available for download on the Digital Atlas of Australia. And I have a bunch of links for all the data sets and all the data sources in the presentation, which I'm more than happy to share at the end with Warren. And I'm sure he'll be able to share around with everybody in the session today. But I just thought I would have to make this little caveat around the data. So the data is available to be consumed, but it's not an official product, and it's not going to be updated in the future. So the data itself that was created for this project, we had our demography team kind of do a top-down approach to build the data sets to statistical area areas level 2, which are called SA2s, and local government areas as well, which are the LGAs. So there was a top-down approach to this calculation. And for the application itself, we decided to use the SA2 level, the SA2 data only. And there are two different data sets there. So there's one that has the population, the projected population broken down by age and sex between 2022, which is our base year, and all the way up until 2032. And then the other available data set is the population, the projected population growth. So we have the relative growth to our 2022 base year, but we also have the year-on-year change. again, all the links here are gonna send you back to the Digital Atlas website, because this was done as part of the collaboration we maintain with Geoscience Australia. In terms of how the web app was built, so like Warren said, it is not Power BI, shocker. But I thought it would be good just to give you like a brief overview of how we actually started, where it started and how it came about at the end. So we usually always have the data sent to us on a CSV format, just because it's a compatible format with pretty much anything. And it kind of integrates really well with the templates we use to have input into our FME workflow. So once we have our input file created, FME will just pick that input file and we'll connect it to our selected boundaries, and then through quite a big process, geoprocessing phase, it will come out. It will have an output that is a file geodatabase, which is like a proprietary type of file from that Esri created. But it's in essence a file that has, or a geodatabase that has, it can have one or more geo-enabled files in there that you can then use for whatever purposes you might want to, like build a map or build a web app, which is our case. We then, once the output from FME is created, we then undergo a bit of an uploading and validating process of that output against our source data, just to make sure that everything came across as is expected, and that all the data is correct, and also that the metadata is complete with all the different information that we want to make available for the public. So, for example, a lot of the links to the data sources, and if there's any specific projects attached to a web service, they'll all be in our metadata. The validation is also done through a Python script, so which kind of just validates from the data, the geospatial part, and then also the metadata. So it's just to make sure that everything came through from the workflow as it was supposed to. Once everything is okay on the validation side, we can then upload everything into our ArcGIS Enterprise portal, which is called Stat Maps. And in there, we can then use the newly created or newly uploaded web services to create our maps, and then we can then start building our web application in a tool called Web Experience Builder. So Experience Builder is where all the interface and interactivity of the web application is going to be created. Now, I do hope the demo goes well. Hopefully we won't freeze or the internet won't break on me. But I just wanted to point out as well, so the app was supposed to be available on Digital Atlas, but unfortunately we came across some technical issues when we were trying to share the content across our portal to DAA portal, to the Digital Atlas portal. So unfortunately it's still not available there. We are hoping that it will be around next year once those technical issues get fixed. But it is available on our Stat Maps portal, and it is publicly available, so anyone can click on the link and have access to it. I think I shared the link on the chat as well, so it should be available. But you can also scan this QR code here at the top, and you can open it on a mobile device, because this app was created and was optimized to be open in smaller screens, so either a tablet or a mobile or either a phone. So let's jump on the demo. Just gonna come out of the presentation. So once you open the link to the app, this is where you land. And let me know if you're seeing the same thing as me, just to make sure. Everyone is seeing a map. Yeah, great. Yep. So the population projections explorer lands initially on this map view. I mean, we're geospatial people, so we love maps, obviously. But the first thing you see is the total population projection change. So the idea here is that you can either zoom in on the map with your mouse or your fingers if using your phone. You can search for a specific area, and it will give you, sorry, I should mention that my typing is usually pretty bad. So when you search for an address or suburb or whatever, you actually get the chance to either search for an actual SA2, sorry, or the suburb itself. So once you click there, it will just give you, is everything okay? Sorry, I just heard someone talking. This actually should zoom in into the area. I don't know why it's not doing that. Let me try them. Maybe it's my internet that is breaking on me. But you can search here for either a suburb or an SA2, or you can just zoom in on the map and click on one of them. And I'm going to do that just for time's sake. So let's just pick one here really quickly. And apologies for the rendering, but this sometimes takes a bit of time to render. So once you click on an SA2, it starts to fill out some information on this right-hand side panel.
It's working for me, Maria, if you want. It might be your internet connection because it's actually
like on mine it's taking some time, so I don't know. This is quite normal here, by the way. Our internet likes to play up quite a lot, if not too much, if you ask me. So I'm not entirely sure if you're seeing the same thing. Okay, I think it's finally rendering. Sorry. Apologies for that, but really the internet here sometimes is just dreadful. So once you click on an SA2, you're going to get this information panel here on the right displaying some information. So it will tell you what is the projected population for 10 years from now. So for 2032, it will also show you a chart of that that same progression of growth between the 10 years that the data has. And we'll also show you what the population change for this particular SA2 is between that 10-year period. And then you will have the breakdown for each year of the change. As you can see here on the left, there's also a filter option where you can do pretty much a filtering between areas in Australia. I mean, it's kind of taken into consideration that people will understand more or less what those areas are. So this is state, the major region is a SA4 or a statistical area at level 4. And then the local region will be the statistical area at level 3. So if you are familiar with how the ASGS structure is, which is the Australian structure for geographical boundaries, it should be pretty easy to understand. But that's another way to kind of filter out the map to a specific region, and then you can come in here and either pick here the SA2 that you want to see, and this will automatically zoom into this SA2. And obviously it will update here once you click on the map. There you go. So now we're looking at the Wollongong East SA2 information. Kind of playing up on me a bit, and I apologize for that. Nothing beats IT issues when you're trying to do live demos, really. I just want to make sure that it's reading the information. Oh, there we go. Now, if we move to the next tab, which is the comparison tab. So on this one, it will actually give you the option to compare between SA2s. So the first one, which is what we call here a site A, is the one that you selected in the previous map. But for site B, you can just come here and either filter out the same area, or you can actually click on this little button and it will show you a separate map where you can just zoom in, filter, and select another area. So if we go to the same Wollongong area, we can just select another SA2, and it will eventually populate here the information for that other SA2. So you can actually have a comparison between two different SA2s in the same area. So for example, if you are a local council and you just want to see how the population is progressing between two different SA2s of your council, this is the page to use. So it gives you that option. And again, you can come here and change both of them if you want. Then on the dashboard page, so this is a bit more information on the first SA2 that was selected, or site A. And we will have here on the left the breakdown of by sex. for the projected population. So we have for all age groups, for both male and female, but then you can also see specific age groups for both sexes. So school age, working age. So school age will be from 5 to 19. Working age is from 20 to 65, and then senior age will be 65 plus. And again, you can see for both sexes here as well. And if you want to change for a different SA2, you can just come here and select another one if you want to. So that's pretty much how the dashboard or this application is built. It kind of has a dashboard view to it as well. Even though it wasn't built in Power BI, you can actually do quite a lot with it. Although I would have to say that in terms of the charts and the manipulation of the data is not as powerful as Power BI is, because that's not what this tool was built for. But that's pretty much it in terms of how the app works. We do have instruction page here if you want to kind of just understand how to use it and what you can do with it. So you can flick between the pages. It kind of explain to you how to use this app. And this is available for all screen sizes. And we do have this bit of information around the usage of the app as well. And then the contact page actually will send you to the Digital Atlas contact form in case you have any questions about the app or anything else from the platform itself. We do have our own email that you can use for any questions that you have about this app or anything or any other data that you find from the ABS, and we are more than happy to answer any questions. And that's pretty much it for me. I don't know if there's any questions.
Is there any, sorry, was that a hand up? No? If there is any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I think for the sake of time, we might keep moving, but Maria's going to send all those links, and I can send that through and the email as well. If you do have a question for her, put it in the chat, Maria, if you're okay to answer those questions.
Yeah, I'll take a look.
Chat. Beautiful, thank you, and thank you for the presentation. I think there's a lot of value there to be had, so thank you for coming along. Next up, I'm going to hand over to Pedro. Pedro, you have to introduce yourself and let us know where you are and what time zone you're in, because I know you're not in Australia and we appreciate you coming along. So I'll hand the screen over to you, Pedro.
Thank you, Warren. First of all, thank you guys for the invite, and I'm really glad to join the session. I'm from Brazil, so my time zone now it's 10, almost 11 p.m. for me. One day before you guys, so it's GMT -3. And like Warren said, I'm here to introduce Magic Killer. I'm part of Brunner BI, which is the developer of Magic Killer. And my role is I'm one of the developers of the tool itself. So we've been developing it about 2 and 3 years now. And today I'm here just to introduce a little bit of the tool and show you guys what you can do with Magic Killer, all the possibilities. And I'm going to show the really basic stuff, the basic introduction to the tool. And there's a lot more the Magic Killer can do, but I'm going to cover only the basics today. And I'm glad some people used Power BI here today already, because it's related mostly to Power BI Magic Killer. So I will do just a live demo for you guys to show you a little bit of what's possible. So I'm going to share my screen now. Seconds. Can you guys see?
Yes, we can see. Yep.
Great. Let me go back to the start window. So Magic Killer is an external tool for Power BI. Like I said, there's a free version and an enterprise version. Everything I'm going to show here is it's included on the free version. Basically, the main difference between both of them is the free version is offline. Everything is offline, so you need to have the local PBIX file on your computer. And everything enterprise related, you can connect to models, semantic models on the service itself. So if you are like a small developer and you have all your projects in your PC, you don't need the enterprise version. And another plus side is that the free version can be run offline, so you don't need internet connection for anything I'm going to show here. So I'm using a very simple report, a sales. It's all sample data here, a sample report as well for sales data. It's something we use for testing. We have a lot of reports for that. And basically, like I said, this is the start window for Measure Killer. And these two modes here are the free version modes. The rest is part of the enterprise license. So I'm going to focus on those two today, mainly the first one. And this is the most basic setup you can have, which is one file, one PBIX file that has both the report and the model, because you can have them separate in more complex scenarios. But in this case, everything is in the same file, a local PBIX file. Then you just click this button, and the first thing that shows up here is the file selection. So you can select the actual report that's open. So it's a little bit similar to what Warren showed before with Cloud. So Measure Killer detects all the files open, all the Power BI files open, and it shows here as a list. So in my case, there's only one report, but you have multiple reports. It will show here in the combo box, and you can select the report you want. You can also add the local host, the connection manually if it's not detecting for some reason, because it can happen sometimes. It's really rare. And after you select the model here, just click next, and automatically Measure Killer will find the report, the PBIX file connected to the model that's open. Sometimes if it's a brand new file, it won't show up here. Then you can just use this button here to actually add the file. So in my case here, with this, just add the file here. And this is the main window for Measure Killer. Then you just click on Run. And what Measure Killer does here is give you all sorts of analysis in your model. So I'm going to start just by explaining a little bit of the summary, the execution summary here on the left. Basically, here it shows up a lot of data regarding the usage of your model, because the main purpose of Measure Killer as a tool is to tell you what's being used or not and what can be removed from your model safely without breaking anything. And as you're going to see here, we check everything, both in the model and in the report itself. So we check visuals, conditional formatting, measures, everything you can think of. And we tell you what's being used or not, so we can clean up space on our model. Because usually in the development cycle of reports, one of the hardest things in Power BI itself is telling apart what's being used or not, and what can be removed, especially columns that were imported from tables in the start of the development process. So that's where Measure Killer comes in. Let me expand the window here. So here, for example, you can see this model has a lot of stuff used. It's, like I said, a sample report, so it's not really a real case example. We had examples that models were like 90% unused a lot of the times with different clients. So it's really common to have a lot of your model unused. In this case, it's a smaller size. Here you can see how much size it's fully unused. And we have also this status called used by unused, which is basically if something is used by something else and that other thing is unused, then it's going to paint the rows as yellow, like here. For example, this column is being used in column sorting for something else which is unused, like this column here. And basically, this should say, tell you what's not being used in the model at all. We also have like a lot of other counts here. So the number of tables, calculated tables, measures, columns, relationships, or sort of stuff. We also have model and report best practices, which you can see here, the score. But here up top, you can see actually the rules that are being applied. For the model rules, for example, we use the standard Microsoft rules, which are used by Tabular Editor as well. You can also edit in Measure Killer itself the different rules that you want to apply. So if you wanted to disable some rules or even change the numbers, you can do that in the settings for the tool. And likewise for the reports, you have the same thing here. We had some rules here introduced for the report best practices, For example, the number of visible visuals on the page, the number of artifacts within visuals. There's a big list as well of best practices here. But now going to the main output of Measure Killer, this is the results tab, which you can see here. All the artifacts, we call them, which are measures, columns, and calculated columns mainly, are going to be listed here. And you're going to see all the usages of each one of them. So all the red rows are stuff that's fully unused. So for example, all these columns here can be removed from your model because they are not being used either in the model or the report connected to it. And for the stuff that is being used, we can see exactly where it's used as well. So for example, this column customer key, it's using another measure, which is called customers active, and also in a relationship. You can see here a little bit of information of the relationship, the connection between those two tables. And we have like upwards of 25 types of usages in the tool. So we check a lot of different stuff. So yeah, the main promise of the tool is if you remove anything using Measure Killer, you won't break your reports or your models. So that's the whole point. Just passing by a little bit more on the other tabs. We also provide some information on the whole tables, because we also track usages for the tables themselves, not only the artifacts. So if you have, for example, a measure that uses count rows, for example, on a table, that will be detected as well, and this table will be listed as used. We have a list of all the unloaded queries and parameters here, which you can see the usages. Sometimes it will list also unused tables and parameters that can be removed using Measure Killer as well. So if they are not being referenced anywhere, it will show here. We also have like an overview of the report as well, showing all the pages, the visuals, and inside the visuals you can see the artifacts that are being used in each of the visuals. So it's like an upside down view, let's say, of the results tab, because here you can see like using the report layout itself. And also we have page navigation, bookmarks, hidden pages, all sorts of stuff here. Also the theme that's applied, the number of visuals, pages, everything. Here I also list all the relationships in the model. Like I said before as well, here it can show unused relationships as well. And those also can be removed. So this is like a relatively clean report, but yeah, a lot of stuff shows up here. You can see all the DAX expressions in your model as well. So here you can search stuff. So if you want to see, like, for example, all the measures that you use calculate, you can just search calculate here to filter all the measures like this. Almost everything in Measure Killer is exportable as well in Excel and JSON. So you can do all sorts of processing in other tools itself. For example, even Power BI, you can use on top of Measure Killer Excels to do further analysis on the exports. We also have the same for the M expressions. So here we have, for example, a parameter and also unloaded queries and tables. So you can search for table views, for specific transformation types, stuff like that here. We have a new tab for UDFs, one of the new preview features. We also have like some plots. We can remove stuff or hide stuff from your model here. So if you just click on hide here, it's going to hide everything from your model. And also you can kill the artifacts here just by clicking on this button. I'm going to show you another way today, where you just click here, it's just removing from the model. And also the columns. Here we have the way Measure Killer removes columns is creating a new step at the end of the query. So it just adds a new step, removing the unused stuff. So here you can see the new step that's going to be added. And it's a table by table basis. So it's a little bit different in that way. But there's a simple way, which is the last thing I'm going to show you guys today. It's using actually the new preview feature, which is the Tyndall view that was shown before. You can just export a clean Tyndall of your model just by clicking two buttons. Just click here and then copy to clipboard. And this will remove everything that's being unused in your model. So all the columns, measures, relationships, unloaded tables, everything, and just create a brand new query that you can just paste on Power BI here in the Tino tab and just apply the changes. And if you do this, everything that's not being used will be removed. And if I just save the model here and just run Magic Killer again, if everything goes right, we won't have anything in use. So as you can see, all the red rows disappear because everything is used now. And this removes like 10 or 15 columns and also full tables and measures and everything like that. Like I said, there's a lot more to explore in Magic Killer. There are also modes that are only in the enterprise version of the tool, but everything that I show here is for free, and it's really simple to use. So I hope it's useful for you guys. And once again, thank you for giving some time here, Warren, so I can show the tool. And now I'm open to the questions.
Yeah. Thanks, Pedro. And yeah, just to mention, I use Measure Killer a lot. So every time I run a project, at the end of the project, I've made that many measures that I can't remember just to check things, and I don't know if they're being used or not. I run Measure Killer over the top of it, and it's beautiful. It's easy to use. So I thought it'd be great. It's another resource to put in your belt. Also, I know a lot of you can't install things because you're restricted. You can, and correct me if I'm wrong, but there's a web version that you can actually connect. You don't have to install it on your device.
Yeah, that part is it is a desktop tool, so there's a way of installing it without. Yeah, it's a different process, but it works.
Yes. Yeah. See if I have any questions. Oh, so the question is, if I go and remove something, is there like an undo to undo the changes I made?
Yes. Let me show you really quickly. So here there's this restore button here, which you can restore all the changes that have been done by removing stuff here. So now all the removed stuff is gone. But if you just kill something here in the restore tab, here is going to show all the backups. In my case, I haven't removed anything in this model, but it saves everything in the app data folder of your PC. So if I'm in a brand new PC, that's why nothing showing here, but it will show everything that's being removed in your PC until you remove that folder from your local machine, and you can just open the model again and restore the stuff you removed. So this is the easy way. And also, if you use the clean Tindo, like I showed in the end, you can just store the Tindo itself as a backup. So there's like an easier version, let's say, and Measure Killer only applies stuff if you actually save the model. So before saving, if something goes wrong, you can just close the file and open it again, and none of the changes will be applied. You need to actually save the file to apply everything that's being removed.
Oh, excellent. So does Measure Killer transmit any data to the cloud, to cloud-based services?
The only thing we check is for the licensing. So if you're running the free version, you don't need any connection to the internet. We don't transmit anything. The only thing, like I said, is if you have a paid license, then Magic Killer checks if the license is still valid. So it just sends like the public IP of the machine, and we just check in the database if that's working. But like I said, in the free version, nothing will be transmitted. You can work fully offline.
Excellent. I think that's most of the questions. We're going slightly over time, so I might wrap up there now. If you have any more questions, shoot me an email. I can connect you with Pedro. I'm sure he's more than happy to help you out. But it's a product I'd encourage you to have a go. Have a try, see if you like it. I use it on every project. So thank you, Pedro. I'll share my screen again, and I'll quickly wrap up. Our winner is Cameron Vale. I will be sending you this book, or please get in touch, shoot me an email, just to show you that there was no bias. I put it in ChatGPT, and you have been selected. So congratulations, Cameron. Thank you again to all our speakers. So Andrew, Jasneet, Maria, Pedro, we thank you so much. Appreciate you sharing your time with us. Again, if you want to come on that training on Thursday, shoot me an email if you need any support in the Power BI space. But thank you all. This is the last session for the year, so I hope you have a wonderful Christmas and a good break and a relax. And I'll see you next time next year. So thank you, everyone. See ya.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.